Hello everyone, and welcome to the Belgian Villains channel. Today, we'll be giving you commentary on the match that took place this Thursday the 2nd of October. The match was played in Rotterdam, as Aston Villa faced Feyenoord in the second round of the Europa League. A match that was crucial for climbing up the table, as they had already won their first game against Bologna, 1-0. The match began with fairly even possession, though Feyenoord were much more attacking. A very good move from Feyenoord ended with a shot on target, but the ball was stopped by Marco Bizzo, who was having a very strong start to the game. Shortly afterwards, however, Morgan Rogers played a wonderful ball through to Ollie Watkins, who was unfortunately tackled. A possible red card was reviewed by the referee, but nothing was given, as the challenge was not deemed particularly unlawful. The first half continued to be very tense, with a corner for Feyenoord that was stopped by Marco Bizzo, but behind the line. Feyenoord thought they had taken a 1-0 lead, but the goal was unfortunately disallowed after a foul by one of their players, who had pushed an opponent to the ground. Aston Villa had a lucky escape, as it could easily have put them 1-0 down. The end of the first half remained very eventful, with a huge chance for Evan Guyassan, who struck towards goal, but the ball was unfortunately deflected. It could easily have resulted in a penalty, but nothing was given. The score therefore remained 0-0 as both teams went into the break. Not a particularly good first half for Villa, but a strong start from Feyenoord. The second half began much like the first, with fairly even possession, though Aston Villa were far more attacking than at the start of the match. A huge chance fell to Maatsen, but unfortunately he struck the post, one of Villa's biggest opportunities up to that point. Feyenoord then kept pressing forward, with a massive chance for Wedder, who missed his one-on-one, though he was offside in any case. Shortly afterwards, however, a high ball recovery from Villa allowed the play to be worked back into the middle for Boubacar Kamara, who immediately released Emiliano Buendia. Buendia fired a shot into the right-hand side of the goal, unstoppable for the keeper. 1-0 to Aston Villa, and Buendia's second goal for the club this season. It was also Aston Villa's second goal in the Europa League. At that point, the score stood at 1-0. A few minutes later, Feyenoord had possession, but another turnover around the halfway line by Donyell Malen broke their defence apart. He outpaced them and skipped past defenders one by one, before reaching the penalty area where a defender deflected the ball into the path of John McGinn, who only had to finish. A second goal for Aston Villa against Feyenoord, extending their lead. A hugely important goal, which was the third of the season for our captain, his second in the Europa League, and Aston Villa's third overall in the competition. The end of the match was very tense, but Marco Bizzo managed to keep his clean sheet throughout. The closing stages belonged to Feyenoord, who managed several shots on target, but Bizzo continued to produce some magnificent saves. The match therefore finished 2-0 to Aston Villa. A very good scoreline and, although there are still a few small adjustments to be made, they are starting to rediscover last season's form. A great performance, and we hope to see more of the same this weekend against Burnley. Thank you for watching this video, and up the Villa!